Is this going to be a really good song?
We're gonna figure that out.
Go, come back. Yeah. Come, ga, 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 ga. Yeah. Go, come, ga, ga. Yes. No, ga, 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 ga. No, ga, ga, ga.
And I was like, not my kids. Do you play any instruments?
I played the drums briefly when I was like from middle to like early high school, and then I kind of just like put the sticks down.
All of the drums, or just like a specific drum? My favorite movie in the world, and this is not a joke, is Drumline.
I was about to say, are you getting there yet at Drumline?
In fact, today I was like, I was
Yeah.
remembering that Drumline came out like my freshman year of high school, and I remember I played rugby, and so I had to do all these speed drills, and I would put on the kick, like to like do my feet, and I was like, God, I was so lucky that Drumline came out in high school.
Right. I think I gravitated towards percussion and like the drums in like middle school because it was the one piece of music that you didn't necessarily need to read music for. I didn't pick up like the saxophone and all that shit because I don't like reading music. To me feels like that's a foreign language, and I was like, I just want to make noise, and so the drums allows you to like, I mean, you have to be musically inclined obviously, but the drums was like, oh, you're gonna just bang on shit, and I'm like, that's like,
but that is the plot to
I'd be like
Drumline.
a rock star. Yeah.
But that is the plot to Drumline. Is I can't read music.
I can't read music. Exactly. So I am Drumline, actually.
Yeah.
You're
What
right.
band? What sound? I
What
watch
band?
it
What sound? Yeah, exactly.
I watch it every year. Because people tell me, no, that's not your favorite movie, and they seem confident that it's not.
You're white.
Yeah. And I go, no, I'm
That's what
pretty
it is.
sure it is my favorite movie.
How can you avoid that movie when it literally used to rerun on VH1 every weekend?
Right.
So of course you caught it at some point.
There was just so many, like, it was a guy who was like an outsider at school, which I felt very like outsidery, but he also was like good at one thing, but he had a secret, like the imposter syndrome.
Right.
That was like, it was right there for me. And then I was closeted too, so I was so
Canonically like queer story in Drumline. I was like,
yeah, get it candid. I mean, he looked
I don't
a
think
little
anybody's
soft.
gotten to that point in the discussion of that movie until now. I think we're actually like unlocking a deep thing
If
that
they
queer people love Drumline.
Is that right? Because everybody tells me I don't. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to
I think
rewatch
innately
it.
people think like you don't, nothing resonated with you with this black movie. But that's the thing about black movies is that it resonates with everybody. They can resonate. What other black films resonate with you in that way? Stomp the Yard.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say Step Up 2.
And that's a fair.
I was trying to think of a really good one, but I couldn't. I was like,
if you're open to recommendations,
okay,
you should watch Set It Off. Have you ever seen Set It Off?
Set It Off.
Directed by F. Gary Gray.
Okay.
Queen Latifah.
Okay.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Okay.
Vivica Fox. Kimberly Elise. There are 4 black women kind of going through it. Each one of them have different sort of like walks of life happening, but they're friends. And they're really, everybody has like their struggles. Somebody's like fired from their job. Another one is like losing their child to like, because she can't, for neglect issues, but it's out of her control. She's a single mother. One's brother is being
It's out
killed.
of her control.
So they so because of their like lives, because they're like, you know what, fuck this. We robbing banks.
Oh, wait, I love that.
It's 4 black women robbing banks.
I love robbing banks movies.
And it's truly, to me, one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so if you're going to go for something, if you want to see 4 black women fucking shit up,
yeah,
it's tragic. The ending is tragic. I won't give it all away. But
I get it. She still doesn't get her kids back? What do you mean?
Well, listen, you're going to have to watch. But it's phenomenal.
Okay.
It was the first movie that I ever watched with my mom, like that had like a sex scene in it. And I remember watching it in like my rich auntie's house with my cousins and my mom. And when it was time for some sex to happen, she was covering my eyes. But I'm like, I can still kind of see. My mom's hands aren't that big. It's like I saw an ass crack.
Wait,
I saw Jada
there's sex?
Pinkett's ass crack.
I'll go back
at 9. And that's why I'm gay. No.
You're just like, I like that, but like in a, I want to be her kind of way. Oh my God, that's so
She's having
Mom.
sex with Blair Underwood. Yeah, I moved, girl. I put me in that situation. She didn't know that then.
I actually was asked to babysit a little bit before I was ready. But so my mom was like, okay, so you're probably going to want to have them watch a movie. We should go to the store so that you can pick out a movie. And I was trying to figure out what movie to pick. So I picked out this movie that was so innocent it was not rated. And it was Troy. And when they broke in the gates, they did things, unspeakable things. And
Yes.
I was like, whoa, I went to turn it off. But these kids started screaming, going, I want to watch it. And I was like, not my kids.
When you first watch, like, when you first see sex or first hear sex sort of happening, even if it's like your parents, you're like disgusted because it's your parents, but you're also sort of like intrigued by what is happening. Like
Yeah.
I grew up in a single, it was me and my mom, and my mom, before she got married, had like a very healthy, like, you know, she had relationships. She didn't have guys in my face like that, but you know, you would hear your mom getting clapped up, you know. That's just the layman's term for it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, you are hearing and seeing. Like, so my relationship to what sex is, especially when I was like, oh, this is just like a very healthy thing that people do. And I never felt like my mom was doing anything bad.
Right.
I never felt like I just was like,
Did she ever explain it to you?
No, what happened was I was like acting out really bad between the summer between like 6th and 7th grade, I think. Yeah, 2001. And I was just like getting into trouble, lying, doing a whole lot of shit.
Middle schoolers are the worst people in the world.
I was acting out in a crazy way. And so I had an uncle that lived in upstate New York, Buffalo.
I've heard of it.
he had, so my mom was like, I'm driving you. I'm not even putting you on a plane.
Yeah.
I'm driving from Detroit 4 hours.
Yeah.
Driving you to Buffalo, and you're gonna stay with your uncle, her oldest brother,
For the summer?
for like a month during
Okay.
the summer, and he's gonna like teach you everything.
Oh, so they had a conversation like, do you think
He's
he needs
coming
a
up here.
man?
Yeah.
Do you need he needs a father
he
in his
needs
life?
somebody to tell him
Yeah.
what to do, because you are getting on my last fucking nerves.
Yeah.
To the point where literally she drove 4 hours.
Yeah.
Then had to drive herself. I'm sure that was probably. I've always wanted to ask her, what was the 4 hours that you drove back like? What were
Yeah.
you thinking about? Like, I'm so glad they had this nigga out of my hair for a month. Like,
I wonder if she was like daydreaming about like what she's
Yeah.
gonna do when she gets back.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
probably just went back and took a bath or something.
took a bath, had
Yeah.
sex, went out, drank. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm chilling. I'm like, I've always wanted to ask her, because I'm writing a thing about it right now, because my summer there was crazy, because my uncle, like, I tell
Okay,
people,
so you get there.
my talk, I
You get there. Does he give you a pre-speech like this is how it's gonna go down?
He kind of just like the speech was like, you're sleeping in the living room. It's a pull-out sofa. He also was like, you can stay up as long as you want. You don't have to go to sleep. You know,
Yeah.
at some point you have to go to sleep. But if you want to be up all night, you can be up all night. He was truly a bachelor.
Okay.
So he just was like, he was in a motorcycle gang, and he had sickle cell. like, you don't think those two go together, but they go together for him. Yeah.
My Hulu keeps on asking me about that. Maybe I'm watching too much Drumline. Like, what are my
Possibly.
ads?
that begs the question: can one watch too much Drumline? I think that's true. Yeah. Chronically drunk, like you
But
notice
sometimes-
everything. Yeah.
Sometimes they do Spanish speaking. I go,
Yeah.
Duolingo, so that makes sense. But
That's
the
how you
sickle
learn
cell-
Spanish, is through Drumline. Yeah, but he okay. So
Wait, sorry, just
how-
real
no,
quick. What
mhm,
kind of
go ahead.
gang? Like
Motorcycle gang.
like selling, like I've seen the new movie with the whatever Austin Butler.
Boston
maybe?
Butler.
Yeah.
Mm. He
Was
just
it
was
like
in,
that.
He was in like a black motorcycle gang in Buffalo, New York. And one time we hung out. Okay, so we hung out. He would take me around like town and show me. My uncle would like get dressed to go to the barbershop. And when I say dressed, I mean he would like put on like a blazer, and he was always like, I guess this was one of my lessons, was supposed to be, you got to look good every time you step out. Which I mean, obviously I didn't take to that, because look at me, I just came from the gym.
I love a side by side of that and Big Daddy when he's like, "We're gonna go to Barney's." He's like, "Barney's," but you're like, "We're going to the barbershop."
I couldn't understand it, but he was just somebody that prided him. He prided himself on like how he looked. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that was one instance. Then with the motorcycle gang.
So this was the 90s though, right? No, early 2000s.
I ain't that old. Yeah, this is early 2000s. Yeah.
I was trying to remember how old I was in 6th grade.
2001, I was like 11.
So I was trying to imagine
12.
what kind of hair he had, but then it was probably just a regular.
He had a short, like, fade or whatever, glasses, tall, kind of light skin, in between, kind of my same color as me, whatever.
Okay.
But so the barbershop was one thing. I do recall. I do recall going to the motorcycle, like the bar that the motorcycle gang hung out in, like dead in the afternoon. I'm like, it was my first time like being in a bar. Yeah. And I'm like young. I'm like, I shouldn't even be in here, but they didn't care because they were all like a family. Yeah. And the motorcycle gang, that's where they all came together, and it was like a black motorcycle gang. I had never seen anything like that before. And he took me up. I rode on a motorcycle with them.
What were they called?
I really don't remember, but my Uncle Derek, his name was Derek, and his motorcycle name, his gang name was Dig'em, DIG''EM, and he had the jacket and he had the vest and everything. I don't know. I can't tell you the origin of how they came to that.
But what we're assuming is he was digging graves.
No idea.
But is that the assumption?
No idea. I couldn't tell you, but that's just what they came up with.
Or is it the cereal?
I truly couldn't tell you. I don't remember the origin of it, but what I
I know you said I don't know. I'm like, but let me ask four more guesses.
We can dig him up and try to figure it out. I don't know. Oh, no, he got cremated. I forgot about that.
Oh.
But yeah.
But does your mom know?
Know what?
Why he had that name?
I could ask her, but she probably wouldn't know either.
Okay.
But you know what? That experiencing that kind of, in a way, propelled my thought process to move into New York when I did, because I moved to New York with literally like no friends there or like no community around me. So when I started doing stand-up, these became the people who I was around, and these are my friends. And my uncle, that was his like chosen family, you know, like these people cared about him. And so because they showed him love and supported him and took care of him, because he would get sick sometimes, like our family didn't really have an attachment to these people, but the people that he was close with, when he died, we had to get on the horn and call them and figure out what was going on. And so it kind of set up there's like a parallel there where I'm like, oh, my mom knows these are my people because I do comedy with them. Yeah. And I become friends with them. So this is like my own version of like that. Yeah. That motorcycle gang, which kind of, I was like, that's I honor him in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering, when you went there, because when I go to a bar to drink, I'm drinking. Yeah. I never thought about, like, I bring a kid. My dad always brought me to DD him home. Yeah. But was he like introducing you to people? Was he like, there's a board game to the side?
He was introducing me to people, and these are the people that he's always around, and who he's riding with, and who he just relates to these people, and he found his people in a place that he did not grow up in. He didn't have any connection to. He just went out there.
Were they all like super like mask?
Yeah, including the women. It was also like diverse. It was like diverse in like gender, but it was black. It was like because Buffalo isn't like a black city.
I don't know.
So it was
the Bills.
But you think about like motorcycle gang culture. Like I'd never heard of anything like that. It was my first time ever seeing something like that. Yeah. And I was like, this is like a thing.
Nobody ever tells you like that in school. And some of you guys will be in a motorcycle gang. Like that's never on the career
realize
things.
What that is. And so like I have a respect for it, because it's truly like a community for people who like have a love for this thing. Yeah. Are good at this thing. They're good at riding motorcycles. They know the ins and outs. They know. And my uncle, who knew, he had such an attachment to motorcycling that, and my mom hates to this day the fact that he had me on the motorcycle as much as he did. And I was like having a ballet. No helmet.
Do you ride now?
I don't ride now, but I was thinking about like, I would have to like have a house in order to like, cause you gotta put it somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know. But I guess in New York, it's really
where am I gonna put it?
To me, you're finding parking easier.
Hell no.
Because of the motorcycle.
Parking and easier do not. Those
Even
are not
the motorcycle, you could just.
Those are not two words that go in the same sentence when it comes to New York. I'm sorry to tell you.
Shove it up in there. Yeah. You just shove it in between.
Drag it upstairs and put it in my apartment.
No, no. I just got an e-bike and I've been zipping around the city.
The way scooter culture in Austin is crazy, because you could just put that shit anywhere.
Yeah, no,
I tripped over one the other day.
It's great. I mean, it's so ubiquitous that the homeless have like a fight against them. Like you'll see them just like tossing them in the river or just like trying to break them. Some of them are just like dragging them around. You're like, it's dead. Where are you taking that?
Yeah.
But no, I love how condensed Austin is because you can do all that. And then 20 minutes away is like a nice river.
Everything is sort of walking distance here in a way that I respect, because some places you're walking and people are looking at you like, do you need help? Like, but you can walk here. It's fine.
You can.
It's
and then you walk 2 blocks and you're no longer in danger.
Yeah, exactly.
There's areas, clusters.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it here. You come here a lot?
This is my second time here. I was here from Moon Tower 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do some word association.
All right.
Texas.
Barbecue.
Okay. That's all I had.
I thought we were really getting into it.
No, I know. I really wanted
to
to do something, and I told myself to write a list, but I only wrote one.
That's so funny. Yeah, barbecue. I'm chock full of barbecue right now.
Which one are you? Terry Black's is the one everybody loves.
No, I'm not standing in line. First of all, no.
It's so quick.
I'm not standing in line.
You're thinking of Franklin's, I think.
Okay. So, I knew I was gonna eat something at some point here. I was gonna find. So I've been to Franklin. I've been to Franklin's before. Last time I was here, but I went to KG barbecue.
Okay.
Egyptian barbecue. That's there's a show on Netflix. Called Barbecue Showdown. Okay. It's like British Bake Off but barbecue. Yeah. And a lot of the contestants come from like Austin and like places where where barbecue is like renowned.
I don't understand why more people don't do it though. It's good.
Well, you would think, right, that how much can you actually do to barbecue? But there's so much. And this guy, he's an Egyptian cook, and he lives here. He's based here. I just saw him last night at we were at the A24 party at it's over here. Charlie's, cheer up Charlie's. Yeah. So we went, but before that, yesterday I went with Sam J. Yeah. So Sam J texted me. We've been hanging out all weekend, and she was like, "Let's go hit up this Egyptian barbecue truck." And I was like, okay, I don't really know how much I want to experiment because I'm like I
don't know, but you're telling me.
I was like, listen, I like my food the way I like my food, and if somebody's doing something weird to something, I'm checked out immediately. Like, I don't want to not enjoy this food. Right. But when she said it, I was like, is this the guy from the show from Barbecue Showdown? So I was like, I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, it is. And I remember watching his season and really being like flummoxed by the choices he was making.
You're watching those shows?
I don't often, but I was like in a mood, I guess, and just started binging it. Yeah. And the way he was cooking, I'd be like, what are you what are you doing with this? Why is there
What's so weird?
Well, cuz he's using like crema and chimichurri and doing like seasoning it differently than like I grew up eating it.
How did you grow up eating it?
Just regular barbecue, you know what I mean?
The sauce?
Just I grew up with my uncle's barbecuing and stuff like that. It's just very black, very heavy, very black. Just don't do nothing to it, but just put some salt, pepper, vinegar, all that shit.
Exactly,
But he's doing like different stuff. And I remember like him on his season being critiqued heavily because of that. Like, you're doing a little too much with this. And so...
Wait, what was his reaction? He was like, let me shine.
He's like, but it really was just like, I'm putting my culture... I'm combining my culture where I'm from, what we use on like lamb and stuff like that. I'm combining that with traditional barbecue. Let me cook. And
he said, let me cook?
I'm saying that for him. But you know what? I went against my instincts.
And did he say 8?
He did. And then listen, I went against my instincts yesterday and went with Sam. I was like, let's go do it. It was so fucking good.
It sounds good.
To the point where like, I went to the A24 party, saw it again, saw him there actually catering the party, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm having another heaping portion of this. And then I went up to him and I shook his hand and I told him, you should have won.
Good. Was he like, I know?
I think he was just taking the fact that he was there.
And there's like competitions, even though you know the competition's stupid and it doesn't reflect anyone's skill level. When you don't win, there's something you're going like, I can't believe they won.
Yeah, but see, now he's catering the A24 party at South by Southwest. So
is that good?
It's good for him. It's good for his business, I think. And there was a line wrapped around the truck practically when I went there.
And you did wait in that line then, huh?
No, I didn't. But it pays to have your friend being Sam J. When your friend does a Tom Brady roast, you cut the line at the barbecue line.
Yes, exactly. I feel like my friends would get themselves a plate and then turn around like, oh, I didn't know you were hungry. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not. It's fine. I would hate to be imposing at all.
It was great.
So I've been focused a little bit on like reinventing yourself. I'm an Army brat, so I had to like. I actually use it as like a kid. I would reinvent myself as like, well, I fucked up all those things. So like I got to be 10 people before I went to college. And then after college, I was like, oh, I'm gay. And so then I found like 10 different gay people.
And I got to do this shit all over again.
Exactly. And I don't feel like it's like a bad thing to constantly reinvent yourself. Has there been a moment where you're like, I need to reinvent myself, but I haven't figured out what the next me is yet?
Absolutely. So only child, single parent home for the greater half of my life.
Yeah.
So my mom and I did a lot of movement. I was the kid who moved. We moved so much. I think the period of time where like it was the most consistent for me, like home wise, my mom got married, high school. Yeah. Like I officially grew up in a house in high school. But before that, it was just a lot of moving around. Like
mostly Detroit.
So so I went to school in Detroit for like preschool and kindergarten. In the middle of kindergarten, I moved up to Ypsilanti. It's a town just outside of Ann Arbor where like the University of Michigan is. It's they're right next to each other. You can't really, Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor are sort of homogenous. They're different cities, but they like are right next to each other in that way. And my mom was going back to school into Eastern Michigan to finish her bachelor's degree in education. Okay. So I spent the middle of kindergarten and the middle to the middle of third grade in Ypsilanti. Now, Ypsilanti is like a very diverse community. Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, it's like I'm going from being in school with a bunch very early with like all black kids practically, and now I'm in school, kindergarten, first, second, third grade with like Indian kids, white kids, other black kids, everybody, all of them, whole squad. You know what I mean? So this is my first interaction with like diversity in this way and socializing and stuff. So after that was finished, after the middle of third grade, my mom pulls me out of this school and I have to go back to Detroit. So I just remember going back to Detroit hard too. Like going back like fully socialized. I got all these different friends. But I have to leave. And now I'm back and I'm at a school that's like, I wouldn't have been going to this school if I had still been in Detroit. You know what I mean? It was just like a school to get me through the rest of the year because I came in the middle of the school year towards the end.
Oh, okay.
So, and I mean, I'm not gonna say the way these black kids, but the way these kids,
tell them.
The way these kids,
I can only imagine.
The way these kids could like smell the like white on me. You know what I mean? Because I, was around different people, so I behaved a certain way.
Yeah.
So when I got back to the hood, I was in school like, I don't know what I'm doing up in here. Yeah. It just felt it was a discomfort.
You weren't wearing a 2-piece suit, were you?
No, but it just was like my first ever bully was a girl. Who like played basketball and like she grew up to become a lesbian.
Good.
She was taking that out on me.
Yeah. I definitely have some gay kids I have to apologize. And he grew up to be a fucking filthy ball.
No, Terry. Terry, if you're out there, I hold no hard feelings. But you know what? Also, I remember her picking on me so bad. That because she was like taller than me a little bit and like just was aggressively on me for whatever reason. She was like, I'm a pick on him. Yeah. And it reached a point, and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. But I knew I couldn't hit her. You can't hit a girl, but how can you get away with hitting a girl without actually putting your hands on her? I remember being in the hallway, taking my book bag and just. That's like a gay awakening. There's nothing gayer than hitting somebody, especially a woman, with your bag.
He just hit her with his purse. And I just remember a backpack.
But I also remember like her brother waiting on me outside and me having to like sit in the school until it was like safe to leave because I'm like, girl, you've been fucking with me for like 2 months.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
expect
yeah.
me not to respond?
So I love how I moved around like every lowest 10 months up to 5 years. So same, but it was high school that was for me. But I feel like I just became so adept at bullying because my formative years were in England, and those people are fucking like, I got beat up by gypsies, like I got beat up by regular kids, like I was.
Oh, you had it worse than me.
But like I've always felt like, you know, crippling ADHD, always the new kid, and also
always
closeted,
the new kid.
right?
Yeah.
So I've always been like, in hindsight, was I more closeted and that's what they were sniffing?
Right.
Was the inauthenticity, or
Right.
like, because if somebody's vulnerable about something like their shoes, or and they're just sitting like this, you're like, what you got on? You know, like they sniff the fear.
Yes.
So I always was like, okay, these are the things I'm insecure about. Everybody else has something of theirs. So I wouldn't have hit her. I would have called her fat.
I couldn't have called her that. She was too skinny. She played basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, you could. And
I could have got her.
It actually hurts the skinny ones way worse than the
that's
fat
true.
ones.
That's
The fat
true.
ones go, yeah, I know.
But you know, and so when you ask about like reinventing yourself, and
Yeah.
I think that was my first time. That period of like middle of third grade through like elementary to middle school, I was like, oh, I need to. There was this idea that I had to like get back to black and be like, oh, I'm like, I can't be the version of the kid I was.
Yeah.
Then it was more innocent. Like my innocence was starting to like kind of like fade, and I was like, oh, I gotta like cuss and be, you know, be aggressive and get back, like, cause I didn't. My really formative years were just spent in this like utopia sort of like, oh, everybody can be my friend. And it's like, no, actually, we black now again, and we learning black history. And I didn't learn about black history in like kindergarten through third grade because it was just cool. It was just like, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And now, when you take me out of that and put me in this black school, all these black schools where black history is a requirement, like it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know this. I mean, honestly, if I would have stayed living over there and grew up, I probably would have became like some fucking Republican black dude.
I'm not gay no more.
Yeah. So and then like the gay thing too. Like, so that was my first thing with like reinvention of myself.
So
but then
just,
like middle
just
school,
to stick with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Were you consuming anything to be like, I'm gonna learn from these people? These people are my mentors.
So I distinctly remember. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to say this, but it's just like being a kid. I remember I was the new kid in 6th grade with another dude, James, my best friend in middle school. Straight boy.
Okay.
Straight boy. Played basketball, so I played basketball with him too. I remember like us coming into this middle school together, 6th grade the first time, and like being the new kids, and everybody would like just love James. Like, James is like cool, he plays basketball, he's funny, he's cute, girls like him. And I distinctly remember having a notepad, The Rock from WWE. It was the Rock merchandise. I had a Rock notepad, and at the top of it I wrote, how to be cool like James.
Like James.
And I talked, and I know, and like I asked James, I was like, what do, you gotta walk a certain way, like, and he literally like embraced it and was like, yeah, I got you, you know, and then he became my friend.
That's so cool.
It was so, but it's so embarrassing.
That's
thinking
so
about it.
lucky that James was like, I understand.
And we stayed friends like throughout, you know, all of that, and we still keep in touch here and there. I see him when I go home to Detroit every now and again.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how much I was trying to be like. It felt like such a loser talking about this shit.
Yeah, no.
But that's what my brain was doing, because I wanted to be like a cool person. And then the gay shit, it's like that didn't really like. I used to get all of the jokes and stuff. I used to get all of like the stuff said to me or insinuated. Of course, I was closeted and not really telling anybody anything.
Right.
But I was thinking about this today. I'm very fortunate that like the male friends for the most part that I like had in middle school, and maybe I may be speaking more towards high school and college.
Okay.
As I started like coming out and being more comfortable with myself, I didn't lose any of those. I didn't necessarily lose those friends. Like, I know a lot of guys come out the closet and then like, you know, the boys that they hung out with are like, oh, I can't. They gonna think I'm gay.
Yeah.
But I'm fortunate that the guys that I got close with didn't necessarily feel like there would be any sort of weirdness with me still being around. So like ninth grade, I became friends with like the only freshman of my class that was on the varsity team as a freshman. And we got close because our algebra teacher used to get us confused for each other. You know what I mean? She would call him me and me him. And so we became friends from that moment on. And then even as like I progressed out of the closet and we went to college together also, he was my roommate. We were still close. So I've been like fortunate. I don't know if you can relate to this, but I've been fortunate to like, I know a lot of gay people, like I came out and I lost some friends and had to find myself. I still, to this day, surround myself with nothing but straight dudes.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have a lot of straight people in my life, but I actually think I pulled away so that they couldn't pull away first.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Like, and I mean, I feel like a lot of friends, even though they're like, I don't care, I'm like, well, you do care, and you're a liar. Okay, and now I can't trust you because you should care.
Yeah.
And like the idea that they wouldn't care to me was so like beneath the explosion that I expected.
Yeah.
So that I was like, oh well, they can't be honest with me, and like it is weird now, and I was making it weird, and it's my fault, but whatever.
And I felt like, you know, because once you're in high school and you're gay, you start to notice who's who and who's what, and like, and I mean, I have a best friend from high school that's gay, but he even is like he hangs with the girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I was more interested in being around the boys, but we came together just off of who we used to be rivals because
they always are.
Well, because because and this is another reinvention. I had to discover that I was a hater ass bitch. I was a hater because Justin, my best friend since 11th grade, because he was not at my high school from 9th grade. He got there in 11th grade.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was like, who is this bitch?
Yeah. I remember how they treated me, and now I'm going to treat you like that. Who is this
bitch? Pulling up in his car. He had a nice car. He pulled up. He drove to and from school, whatever. And so I used to give him a little attitude like, well, you didn't come in here. You're not an original, so stop acting like you are one. And he picked up on it, and we did not see eye to eye at first.
Yeah.
But eventually there comes a time in every like gay high school boy's life where you realize, oh, we're the same bitch. And we've been friends ever since.
I said there's a kid that sat next to me. He was a freshman in my junior science class. Like, he was a smart kid. But I look over one day and he had a big rainbow on his like tattoo. He got a tattoo.
He was proud from day one.
And I was like talking, and I remember some girl be like, "You're not homophobic, are you?" Go, "No, I'm not homophobic. I'm just like, why is he rubbing it in our faces?"
So heavy-handed.
So fucked up. Like,
yeah. But so I kind of listen. I have my beliefs about like I guess because the way I came out was so not like, I barely did it. Like, I just was always like, I'm gonna live and I'm gonna let people decide if they want to like deal with me in that way or engage with me in that way, and if they don't, fuck it, okay, I don't care. I felt that way about family and friends. I was like, if you don't want to fuck with me, that's okay. I'll find somebody that does. So I feel like my process of like figuring that out was very casual. I was like, I'm not gonna come out to anybody. What the fuck? Straight people don't have to do that shit. So why the fuck do I gotta tell you what the fuck I do? It's none of your business.
It was really confusing when I had to tell my grandma.
My grandmother was the first person I told.
She goes, "Oh, that's so special. You have a special person." And I just remember like, Brockton didn't have to say he likes to get butt fucked. Like why did he have to tell?
What is this heaviness on it? You know what I mean?
So I was like, I'll tell grandma if you tell her how you like to have sex. And he was like, no.
Yeah. I remember telling my mom, my grandmother, that I was gay, and she was like, okay, what do you want to eat? She didn't give a fuck. So I was like, oh, if my grandmother is over here chilling, then everybody else can suck my dick. I really don't care.
Right. It is. You do pick a couple people, and sometimes the one that you care about the most you tell last.
Exactly.
But I had a friend that was like, why did you fuck? You couldn't trust me? I was like, no, I actually cared what you thought.
Yeah.
The random guy I got drunk next to, like, I didn't care if he hated it.
Yeah, during college, it was like, I was like sneaking around doing my thing, but with my straight black roommates, you know, they kind of saw me kind of having mood shifts and kind of avoidant and like distant and kind of going nonverbal a lot. And I remember like finally when it had to be like after I left college and I moved to New York, I just started living my life publicly online, doing my shit, whatever, talking about it on stage, doing that shit. And I remember going home, like one of the early times I went home back to visit Detroit when I was living in New York. One of my college roommates, Sean, was like, yeah, bro, we were just waiting on you to say something, dog. You don't realize when you're in the closet sometimes how much you're irritating to people.
Yeah.
Like, you think you're just like, everybody else is sharing themselves and being like the guys like fucking girls and talking about it, and they asking you questions, and you're just like, yeah, man, I'm chilling, I ain't doing it. Yeah. He was like, you used to be. Sean has said to me, it made me laugh so hard. It's like Sean used to be like, you were so annoying when we were in college because you would act like you were hiding something. You would be so avoidant about it, and we were just like, you would leave the room and we'd be like, when is this nigga gonna be gay with us? Like, but. There's also that appreciation that like they weren't like pushing me to do anything. They were just like, we're gonna be patient.
That is nice because I always feel like not being patient.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It is interesting. The things that you think are in your head, everybody can read it. Usually, the people going, "I'm fine." I'm like, "Mom, you're crying after this."
You see everybody else. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I mean, like that's happened many times. Right? I'd be like, "Mom, are you okay?" Like crying while she's doing the dishes. And she's like, "I'm fine. Why are you talking about? We should make chicken."
Right. Exactly. Okay. And it is. I think that's a response, right? Like me someone, not just me, being avoidant with their friends about coming out is a response to like some family shit. Because I had a hard time with my family for a second with that. My mom in particular, like she wasn't really with it, but now we've turned a corner, and she was talking about voting for Pete Buttigieg in that previous election or whatever. I was like, oh, we have gone far off of where you are really into this shit.
I was like, okay, Mom, just let you know, we're not voting for Pete Buttigieg.
Well, hold on. Listen, I think Pete got a bad deal. Because think about it.
Well, you see, he sold his soul to the corporate media, and now he's mad about it.
We need corporate gays. Everybody can't do that.
All I'm saying,
we need suit and tie gays too.
I liked Pete Buttigieg. The way he talks, the way he debates, very fun.
That's when he's the gayest.
For sure. And that's when I love him the most.
He's a little cunty.
The night before Biden dropped out, Pete was on there being like, he's resilient. He's strong. I've never seen. And I'm like, oh,
he has to. But he has to buy into that because think about it though. Pete is so establishment. Like he was in the military. Yeah. He was a mayor. Like he plays politics. And there has to be some space for disagree.
No, we got Peter Thiel. We got Peter Thiel. We don't need it more. We're done.
But every time I see. You know the thing is, Pete Buttigieg is always the smartest person in the room, but he doesn't act like it, which that was charming to me. He gets on Fox News, and he drags these girls left and right with information that he knows is the truth, and like he is super intelligent, and I'm like, oh, that's the part that I like respect. He doesn't grandstand. He just says exactly what the fuck it is. Yeah, and he calls everybody dumb bitches to their face without saying it directly, and I respect that. So I'm like, if he were, I think he could. And also, America is not going to vote for a fag. Okay, you have to be put together. That has to be like 200 years later. We're not gonna be alive for that. You have to be like, you have to play that game.
Okay. Yeah. I know that they wouldn't, but who would you like to pedestal? Who would you choose to put up as president? However gay.
Give it to Pete.
You're still choosing Pete. I said whoever you want, and you give it to Pete.
Give it to Pete because we saw it happening in real time. It was like, okay, maybe. Because here's the thing.
I'm choosing RuPaul. And I'm not even a big RuPaul person, but I think that they're a smart fucking person.
Good luck with that. Okay.
And just her just like her debating like this.
Listen, I just think America is a place where you're going to have to play this game, and we got to play smart. And Pete also represents to me sort of like the process that I respect of like gay men kind of, you have to ease gay into shit. You can't just go full on no lube like, yeah, I'm gay. No.
It is weird that we haven't learned our lesson. Treat it like you do.
You can't. Yes, you gotta treat it like an asshole, dog. You gotta ease into. You gotta. That's how I do with my family. I had to ease my I'm not changing. I'm not what you think. I'm not gonna be. I'm not a trans person. I'm not gonna be because people go to the extremes first.
They do.
And I think a lot of my family's fear, especially my mom and my dad in particular, said when you started coming out, the fear we had was that you were gonna get AIDS. And I'm like, listen, first of all, I'm not a filthy whore. And I'm like, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. I was like, so you can lie to your mom.
That's right. That's what they think. You know what I mean? That I'm their association with the sexuality is that you're all just a bunch of loose men fucking and do that. And I'm like, well,
I'm on PrEP.
That's that.
Mom, I'm on PrEP.
Mom, I'm on PrEP. Don't worry.
But and DoxyPap. But you know, don't worry about it.
I think. Yeah, they just had a lot of fear around it, and we had a family member that died from HIV/AIDS.
Okay.
So immediately their brain goes there, and I'm like, hey, chill out. I'm not. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
And God forbid we're good, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also you can live with it now, so we're good. So it's fine. So they put all of that on me.
My dad did the same thing. I was driving a Mini Cooper in hair school, and then I came out. Just a timeline. I had come out. I was still driving the Mini Cooper. I got in a car crash. I wrecked the bumper, and it was sitting there steaming. And I was standing outside. I look up, and my dad's coming, driving towards me. And I was like, thank God my dad's he knows how to fix cars. He doesn't.
Yeah.
But he just drives by and goes, nice car, faggot. And and he got out of the car, and I went up to fight him. And I was like, Dad, you cannot call me that. He goes, Colton, we're all dealing with it our own way.
Exactly. And I respect that. I agree with him 100%.
Yeah. I'm being hilarious about your gay ass car, and you can't even take that. I'm like, okay. Well, we've done enough time, right?
Yeah, you're at 40. Oh. Yes, you're at 40.
I know I've been yapping. Yeah.
No, this has been good.
I'm solo questions.
Oh, actually, I do want one more question before we hop into the music. Do you think you're going to reinvent yourself soon? Do you think that you're in a hibernation phase where you're going to shed your shell? Which shell are you trying to what are you trying to drop? What are you trying to pick up?
I think, actually, yes, because I've been in the gym for a little over a year now consistently, and I think it's time for me to become a sex symbol.
Yeah.
36 might be too old for that, but
no.
I don't want to get too hot where it's I'm not funny anymore, because that's tried and true. We know once you get hot, people don't laugh anymore. But you also sell tickets though. Shout out to Mateo Lane. I peep game. My boy Mateo got my boy Mateo got in the gym, got some hair plugs. Yeah. Not plugs. He got actual restorative hair surgery. But
wait, what's the difference?
Well, I feel like hair plugs is a slur. It's not. It insinuates that the fakeness of it, but it's no, it's his hair. It's
hair.
He had a hair transplant. He got hot. He got. I remember when Mateo was skinny, like me, real thin. He got in the gym, started bulking up, and posting that shit online. He in theaters now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that.
I look back at Mateo skinny, and it's just it looks like a
completely different person.
A completely different person.
Yes.
Him and Joel Kim Booster.
Yeah, the boys are getting hot, and you have to get hot. So I got to get hot.
I think you're close.
I'm close. I'm not there yet.
What are you gonna do? Steroids? Are you gonna do HGH?
I'm scared of that shit, but
do it.
Listen, if somebody offered it, I'm not.
I think that there's so many more safer ways of doing it.
I'm not playing baseball or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
What are they gonna test you?
Yeah. Imagine if comedy had a person that was you cannot.
Yeah. Well,
testing you for.
There's
far worse things you should be testing comics for than steroids.
Yeah. Name them. 3 of them. If I don't know the podcast person, I will be okay, I'm sorry. I will do your podcast. You seem like a nice person. Have you committed woman crimes?
Not a woman crime. I cannot be. Do you have allegations?
Great.
Do you have any pending allegations?
Yeah. I feel not even if you did it. I'm just asking, did we say you're going to do it?
I don't want to have to go on an apology tour.
Yeah,
that's the last thing I ever want to do.
And I'm looking at your numbers. It's not worth the apology tour. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to see your glow up. And here is the part where we start writing a song.
We got to do a song.
Okay.
I didn't know I had to work today.
Fast forward.
Don't be in
Stay in the closet, do not cook. Check me out the side and these looks.
Wait a minute.
Nobody wants a medium reggae person. Days are like 6 and I'm A1. Say your ass inside.
Like you're on K. You're like.
Be like James, cause you can't read music. He'll tell you how it is and how you can't do it. I promise you I'm mad. Let me tell you when I went back to Detroit. If you wanna hit a girl, hit her with the bag. If you wanna have fun, don't read into it. Hit her like a drum, but when you see her brother, you know you better run. Stay your ass inside. Biking, you don't have to. Did you like Jazz Crack or Homeboy Sack? If you're wondering, you might have to go back into the closet and think. Stay your ass inside. Eating BB Clue and turkey, yeah, you know me. Gonna glow up, you gonna see. Stay your ass inside.
I choose that one. That
I'm
was great.
fucking with that.
I mean, that's FDR.
That's fulfilling everything. That's everything that I'm like asking for from this is that. Yeah.
I was having a lot of fun with that one. I didn't know I need RFK coming in. Your ass inside. And it's just something he wouldn't say. He'd be like, "Let us outside."
Oh my god.
No mask. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you had fun.
Thank you. I did.
Good. Did you have anything you want to plug? Anything exciting coming up you want to talk about?
When is it coming out?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That show will be done. Just follow me on Instagram, Alex English. That's all.
Alex English.
I
Alex
post
English.
all my shows and where I'm coming. You know what? I've worked hard enough where if you type in Alex space English, I'm first.
You better do it. Google it. Bye.
Don't be in a rush. Coming slow. Your mom's not ready. Take the skin off to glow. Stay your ass inside. Stay in the closet, you're not cooked. Check the other side and these looks. Nobody wants a medium reggae person. Days are like 6 and I'm A1. Stay your ass inside. Be like James, cause you can't read music. He'll tell you how it is and how you can't do it. I promise you I'm mad. Let me tell you when I went back to Detroit. If you wanna hit a girl, hit her with the bag. If you wanna have fun, don't read into it. Hit her like a drum, but when you see her brother, you know you better run. Stay your ass inside. Biking, you don't have to. Did you like Jazz Crack or Homeboy Sack? If you're wondering, you might have to go back into the closet and think. Stay your ass inside. B-R-E, eating BB Clue and turkey, yeah, you know me. Gonna glow up, you gonna see. Stay your ass inside. Inside.
P-R-P, eating BBQ in Turkey. Yeah, you know me.
Gonna glow up, you gonna see.